Hey guys, what's going on? We're back. Play a little Factorio, and gonna pick up where we left off at, which was right about here. As a matter of fact, I should have been standing in that exact spot because this is the first time I've turned the game on since we played last. So if you remember, our goal here and is sorry, I'm gonna update some stuff on the stream here real quick. And let's just update that. Alright, all changes saved. Okay, good. Sorry, just needed to update a couple things there. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the beginning of a mega base style world with a goal eventually to be 5 rockets or 5,000 of each science per minute. And I believe I said at the end of the last stream that in my next stream, which is this stream, I would kind of reveal what my plan is. So let's get some science going here. What do we want to do? I guess we'll go there. Okay, so traditionally, from the videos that I've watched and other players that I've observed, it looks like the typical mega base style is, you have your starter base and you build bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually you have to build these massive smelters and have this giant train system that's moving all of your iron and your copper resources all over the map and all over the place. And I think of those styles as being like one giant factory with a lot of moving parts, but it's still one factory. Generally, you have one area that does your iron smelting, and you have one area that does your copper smelting, and sometimes those areas are near each other, sometimes they're not, but all of your iron generally you're going to smelt in kind of one area. It might be 4, 5, 6 smelters, that are producing your iron, but it's kind of all done in one area. So my thought has always been, when I think about a product that has a lot of pieces to it. So think about a car, an automobile. So you buy a car. If you were to break that car down into its thousands of individual components, you would not see that all of those individual components were built in the same city, right? Or the same factory. There's odds are that a big portion of those were built in, China, and a bunch of those parts were built in Mexico, and parts were built in Europe, and parts were built in the US. And then those parts all come to this one factory where they're all put together to make a car. So my thought has always been, why do we treat Factorio like it's one factory that's producing all of these parts? Why don't we treat it more like an item like a car, where it's lots of smaller factories that are doing the work, and then those pieces are then moved around to the labs where they're put together for technology, right? So what I mean by that is, instead of having a smelters where you've got 50 iron trains, and those trains go to this smelter, and then they could end up anywhere, right? Now you're going to assign it a specific location, but you might have one of your iron smelters might have trains for every single other part of your factory that needs iron. My thinking is, why don't we break this down into the sciences, and each science becomes its own little city. And then that city brings in resources and smelts up iron and smelts up copper and then produces the parts necessary for its science. So we would have a red science city, right? So, red science city, we're going to need iron and assemblers to make gear wheels, and we're going to need copper plate, and but those are all going to be sourced and brought in to that city. And then we'll have a city for green science, and we'll have a city for military science and blue science and purple science and production pots. And then finally we'll have a rocket city where all of the parts are built, but they have their own smelter, they have their own production of the parts that are necessary, they have their own oil fields, they have their own power plant. So instead of having one power plant that's doing the power for our entire operation, we may end up with 8 or 9 power plants. Separate little pieces, right? So these separate little cities that are all spread out, kind of far away from each other. And then we'll have Research City. And Research City will basically be all these other cities and their parts, or their pots, basically red, green, military, etc., into Research City, and then they'll put the pieces together for our technology needs. So that's kind of the thought. Now, obviously, not all cities are equal, right? You have humongously large cities, think New York, think Tokyo, think Shanghai, Beijing, Paris, London. You have these giant cities that have the capability and the population and the resources to produce big things. But then, I live in the Midwest of the United States, and there's lots of little smaller cities where they may not have the infrastructure to do 1,000 yellow pots or 5,000 yellow pots an hour, but they might have the resources to do 5,000 red pots or 5,000 blue pot or green pots. So some of our cities will be, smaller population cities, and others will be huge population cities, because obviously the amount of iron and copper smelting that you need to produce a yellow pot is far greater than the amount of iron and copper that you need to produce a red pot. So what we may end up with is clusters of cities that are small cities relatively close together that are producing our red, green, and military pots. Those cities might share some resources. I haven't laid this plan out, right? This is not there's no exactness to what I'm planning on doing here. It's just a theory right now. We're gonna do this live, folks. I don't have spreadsheets set up to calculate exactly how much we need to produce of how many different items. The long-term goal is that we'll get to that point eventually, but I haven't done any pre-planning for this. There's, we generated a map on the fly. This is not a pre-generated or thought out map. This is our map basically that we're using. Hopefully it's going to have everything we need. If not, we're going to run into problems early on. So the big thought here is that what we're going to do is we're just going to build our cities one by one. So early on, our main focus is going to be on just starter base, right? We need to get 4, 5, 6 lanes of iron. We need to get 3, 4 lanes of copper. We need to get a couple lanes of steel. And so the early game is going to be exactly what you guys have always seen. Belt bus probably with uh, a moderate amount of production of most of the science that we're going to need, and we're just going to basically progress through the technology tree. Um, and so that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, I literally played for like 45 minutes when we started this thing up in the last stream. We haven't gotten very far, obviously. And I already see some early challenges. We don't have a ton of coal kind of right here in our starter area. We're going to have to bring coal in from fairly far away. If you look at my mini map, you can see that our closest coal, minus this very small little patch that we have here, is way up here in the corner. And if I look at my map, it's a decent amount of coal. But you can see our starting coal, 100,000, not a lot there. Copper, iron, we're not terrible. But I'll tell you, iron is going to be an issue early on. And I'm really disappointed in the amount of resources in some of these areas. But you can see that, probably right away, coal is an issue. We're going to have to go get this. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to have to grab this before we get to trains, which means we're going to be belting this coal a long way to get it here. But we're going to need it. So that's just the life. This is our next closest iron. We're going to need that relatively soon. We may need this iron before this patch runs out. Again, before we get to I'm sorry, of course we need it before that patch runs out, otherwise we're done with iron. No, before we get trains, which means belting this iron in. So again, we could have really long belts here in our starting base. I'm okay with that. It just kind of is the way that it worked out. As soon as we can get a vehicle, we're going to make a car. We're going to go out and do some investigation to see if we can find some decent resources nearby. The good thing is that coal or that oil is relatively close, so we should be able to get. There's about 20 patches there, it looks like, so we should be able to get a decent amount of oil. This is not the roar. I'm sorry. The roar is over. I updated it. It should be updated. This is Factorio, man. But it should say Factorio. Oh, I bet the thumbnail. Is the thumbnail wrong? Alright, so now it's time to start working on our factory here. So let's dig in and get started. So right away, we need to get some smelters going and decide where we want to do that at. So since my coal we know is up here and our next iron is down here, I think I'm going to build my smelters this way, just so that we're kind of going in the direction that we need in order to get to our resources. So let's see here. What do we actually need? Okay, I've got a bunch on me, so let's go ahead and start making some of those guys. Oh my goodness. Gotta get used to these controls again. And let's see where we want to start at. Trying to think. I think we're gonna go. I think we're gonna do a horizontal bus, but I'm gonna bring these guys up. I've got to remember, because I know there's a way to do this. Is it like this? I feel like feel like that's the way I want to do my smelting. Isn't it 2 and skip and 2 and skip and 2 and skip? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Start with 12. I think we want, what is it, 30 something for blue belt, but we're not going to get that far. So let's start with this many, and let's get okay, so we'll bring iron and coal in here. So our output will be here. We're gonna need copper. I think that's, I keep thinking that's a that's fine. An X. I'm just not paying attention. I'm so used to playing other games. And then let's go ahead and fill up some of these because we're going to use okay. I'm going to start making a lot. I'll make some lights too, because you guys are gonna want that relatively soon. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, so let's see if I can remember how to do this, because it's been a while. So we're going to, okay, that's gonna go there, 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 there. Okay, I can already tell that this is not your traditional smelting setup. I feel like it's not right. Let's take this down because I don't like this. I forget the layout. See, I could easily look this up and it would be no problem, but I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think this is just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I need one more. 12. Right? Am I crazy? And then basically I think we can do another one here. Okay. And then this guy is gonna run I don't think we want this. I think we're gonna want this to be like this, aren't we? Even though I know it's going to mean a little bit of extra work to get this stuff down here, I think we're going to want. Okay, now if I remember right, there's, let's see. So I think we could do something like this, this, and so I don't think that's far enough away. Let's see. then okay. And then we'll have coal coming in. Is it like this? And then, all right, first of all, let's do this. I think this, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we should have coal coming in here, right? Does that seem right? And then iron. So our first lane of iron there. All right. Well, let's finish what's going on here. Okay. So 1, 2. Does that seem right? Does that seem right to you guys? I don't know. All right. It's a start. It's a start. Now we're going to need power. Let's put power there. I'm going to need a lot more than this. So if we do there, there. Like we do the same thing over here. Okay. And then here as well. Does that seem right? Might as well put some lights in too, because it's going to get dark. So we'll do a light there and there. Is that enough light? Should be, right? Okay, so now all we need to do is run some more power lines. We have... Ooh. Okay, that could be a problem. Where's our closest power? Right there. Alright.
Can you guess how much iron ore I have?
How much?
34. Just from one patch.
Oh, nice.
It's a lot.
Good job,
And
dude.
I found like 4, that last 4 in like another patch.
You did.
I fell down a cliff and then I saw a patch, so I started to mine it. And then there was like 10 there, another patch 10, another patch 10. And then there was one patch with 4.
Nice. Nicely done.
It's not melting it.
Cool. Alright, so we're now going to grab some more trees because I need to make more power lines. Okay. Oh, we're out of copper. Alright. We can fix that. Copper. Alright. Okay, so let's put down these miners. I think what we're gonna want to do. Oh, geez, man. All right, so let's start there, there, there. I'm gonna have to move that power. We have that guy. Okay, now what we're gonna need is belts. We're not gonna have enough. Okay. Alright, let's just see if these guys are. Almost. Almost. Alright, so we now have ore. Next we're gonna need coal. So I think for now we're probably done with these guys. And let's make see if 6 is enough to keep us going for now. So those guys will build up. And how's our power situation? It's not using much, so we aren't producing a whole lot right now. Alright, let's see. Alright. I don't think those are in a very good spot, are they? Actually, I think that guy was in a good spot. In fact, that guy is not in a good spot. Dang it. So he has to go here. Yeah, this stuff, man. Alright. So let's see. Let's make some more power. Okay, I think we're good. We'll do it right there. Why do I feel like those guys should... You are not close enough. Ah. Alright, there we go. Okay. We're getting really close to this guy doing its thing. We do need... Alright. Okay, so that guy's gonna send coal down. Let's get power on this. And let's go ahead and make some more of these guys. Okay. Gonna need more power. More power. You can go there and there. I think this guy's redundant. Yep. Okay. Alright, so we should see if it's made it all the way there yet, but we should be getting pretty close to smelting up some iron. And there we go. So our first lane, I guess, of iron is now up and running. Now, I honestly can't remember. I think it's 24, actually, lanes in order to get a full yellow bell. I think it's 24 of these guys, actually. So let's go ahead and start running that so that we have a full lane here. And let's make some more of those, make some more of that, and just that way we know exactly how much room we're going to need here. Okay, we should... Oh, we missed one. We're gonna need some more of these guys. Oops. Let me over there. Okay. There we go. Okay. So eventually, we're not gonna have to handcraft all this stuff. We'll have, you know, it's the point of the game, right? Is that you don't necessarily have to handcraft a lot of stuff. For now, until we get some of these smelters up and running, it's just an unfortunate side effect. So let's get you. And you can see we're not bringing in enough iron to even get all the way down here to the end of this smelter right now, but eventually we will. Hopefully. And we'll be good. So let's actually set up a couple of more. We're gonna need iron. Hey, look, we've got some right here. Okay, and yeah, okay, we'll make like 10 of them. Big thing is we're going to have to keep an eye out is because, man, this coal patch is scaring me. We're gonna run out of coal so fast. And actually, we're gonna go ahead and pick this stuff up. Oh gosh, so far down the line. This stuff is all now pretty much obsolete. Let's go ahead and put that guy there, and then what I think I want to do is let's get rid of the rest of this. And what we'll do, go this way, this way, this way. Okay. Now we should be able to run this, this. What I'll do is that. Okay. So we significantly upped. I still doubt it's enough to get us a full belt of iron, but we'll get what we can out of it. Alright, so smelter lane number 1 is done. Now what we want to do is lay out how much of each do we want. And actually, what we want to do first is let's build us just a little bit of what I'm going to call a quality of life builds. We need, what we're going to need a ton of is belts and gears. So they're always going to be our hang up. So what we're going to do is we're going to build just a little mini factory here. Yep, these guys. That's doing nothing but producing this stuff for us. So this will be gears, and this will be belts. And we're just going to output those into a chest. A chest. Ooh, I know what I forgot. Let's put lights in here. So there. I think we want one there. And I think we want one there, right? Oh, we put it at the top. Let's keep the symmetry. There we go. Okay. And just because, we'll put one there. And let's see if we can get all that. There we go. So this guy is just making us belts. That's all he's doing. And probably that's enough. And then this guy eventually this guy is going to do nothing but make us gears. Just because we're just going to need so much of it. And we're going to need another one of those guys. And then I should have and you can do a whole row. Okay. So again, just these real quick and dirty. We're just gonna need so much of it that it'll be nice to have that stuff going for us. Plus it keep this belt moving a little bit. Speaking of belts, we already need some. So let's grab what's in there. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and kind of lay out our bus a little bit. Let me take a look at the map here. So our bus, yeah, we'll run our bus right through here. That's perfectly acceptable. And what we're going to do is we're going to plan for six lanes of iron. Is that going to be enough? I think for our early base that'll be enough. So 6 lanes of iron, 4 lanes of copper, 2 lanes of steel. So that's 12. And then we will have 4 additional lanes. 16. We're going to set up for 20 lanes. We may not need all 20, but that's what we're going to set up for. So let's head over here. Just make sure we're going to do this in the right spot. I think do it right here on the other side of these trees. So start right about here. So 4 lanes of iron. And then 2 lanes iron, 2 lanes so 6 lanes iron, 2 lanes of steel. I'm leaving 4 between here because I'm pretty sure that's what you need for a RoboPort. So 4 lanes of copper. So then we're going to have 4 lanes. This will be for things like we'll probably do 2 full lanes of green circuits, a full lane of red circuits. We'll need a lane for plastic. We'll might need to have some coal coming through here. We might need to have some stone coming through here. So we're just going to plan for 20 lanes to come through here, with the bottom 8 being iron, steel, then copper, green circuits, red circuits, plastic, whatever else we need to have. And then of course on each side of this we'll have stuff building here, we'll have stuff building up there, and we should be good to go. So our first lane of iron, actually it'll be this guy, won't it? We'll run all the way down that belt. Ooh, that's a long ways. But you're going to see why I built it that far away, because by the time we add all these smelters in and everything, we're probably going to end up being about right there. Now this will work out just fine because we'll do our copper smelter. We'll start our copper smelter, our first copper smelter, like right here, and then push it over. So I like where we're at here. Let's grab some belts. Now, what we're going to do here is we're just going to lay out our smelter lanes so that we know exactly where everything is. So that will go there. That will go there. Right? So we need 2. And then now some of this is a little bit tedious to watch, but it's early game, so you kind of have to get through it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I say 6? Man, I wonder if we should just go ahead and do 8. Hey Isaiah, this is actually not a multiplayer map. Sorry, I didn't see your message. I don't know how long ago you said that, but you know, if we ever develop a large enough following, it's certainly something that I would be open to at some point. So we're just laying out. I'm going to lay out smelting for 8 lanes of iron. I don't think I'm going to use it, but I just am slightly concerned that we may, better to have too many lanes than not enough, because if we have to rearrange our entire base just for iron, we're going to be frustrated. So alright, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we finish up this one and we're good. Alright, so that'll be all of our iron smelting. And then next to that, now you see why we put our start of our bus way down there. Next to that, we're going to have steel smelting. Oh gosh, this is a complicated one. Alright, so if I remember right, you have, let's see if we may have to do this over here. Alright, so if that's your output, right, that's your belt of steel right there. It's coming from here. Okay, but here's the thing. This guy is gonna need. Okay, now this guy is getting fed from. Do I have this right? Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't remember. Is it something like this? Let's see. Nope. Where's my regular? Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't need you. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna switch these because that's gonna be annoying. Okay, so this guy, see, this guy needs coal, right? So this will be a coal belt, and I think it's something like this, right? So that'll be coal, and then this guy will be getting fed iron from this belt right here. Okay, so on the other side it will be you, and then Okay, now the question is, how do I replicate this? Does it work if I do quit? So would this work? Right, and then that could be going like that. That could be going like that, and then there's an end. Actually, if we want to make this a little bit neater, I could do that. Now, can we power all of that? Let's see if we can make this work. So if you go here, okay, so actually I do want, because we're gonna need that guy there and that guy. Do I have this right? I feel like I've not got this right. I'm concerned. Okay, and then so long-handed is feeding this guy. Short-handed's feeding you and you. And then we've got this here being fed iron from here. And then power there and there. So does all that work? I don't know if that works or not. That actually kind of looks like it might work, folks. Did I do that right? I still am not sure I did it right. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So we can pull that off. I think this is even stackable. See if we can figure out blueprints here. I think if I hit B, new blueprint. Okay. And if I grab this, hit a check mark. Let's get rid of the trees. Yeah, I think that works. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Steel takes an enormous amount of resources in order to generate a fully compressed belt. So I don't think there's any chance that we can fully compress a belt with stone furnaces. I think, well, you need 5, right? It's 5 iron for every 1 steel. So you basically need it to be 5 times as long as your other one. So 24 times 5 is what, 120? So just off the top of my head, we would need somewhere in the neighborhood of 120, a lane of 120 smelters. Well, that's a lot. Now, I know once we get to steel furnaces and once we get to electric furnaces, we don't need it to be quite that long. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and make this guy 24 long. And what we can do with the blueprint here, see, is we can just lay this down. So that's 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 24. Now what we didn't do is put any lights in there, but that's okay. So we're going to pick up all of this nonsense. Oh, can't wait for steel. Do this a little bit faster. Really can't wait for robots. So I guess there's big controversy last couple of weeks. What's actually got me back in the mood to play was that a couple of weeks ago, I guess 2 Fridays ago, in the Friday Facts, there was discussion about the quote unquote overpoweredness of robots. And for those that spend a majority of their time building mega base style, that's a big deal because essentially robots are basically a necessity in order to get the humongous mega bases that some of these guys play. And so there's been discussion of actually nerfing bots to take away some of the OPness. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't have an opinion one way or the other because I've never built a mega base. So, but it does sound like that rather than it just sounds like that they're taking away something from the game because, you know, people have gotten to where they use it in a manner that, yeah, they're super strong, but you simply can't build these mega bases in the manner that people build them now with belts. You can't do it. Belts are just not strong enough. I don't know if they ever will be. There's talk about what they can do to make belts better, but I'm still not convinced that some of the changes that they're discussing are really going to solve the issue. But I don't know. I feel like maybe they should leave them alone. Leave the bots alone. But we'll see if that happens or not. So, what you guys may have just saw I did there was I made a blueprint of my entire smelter lane. And I just stamped it down. So now I just have to go in and fill these shaded areas in with whatever the item is that's on there. And it will automatically, I'll have my smelters. Now, obviously, it's a lot of materials, so will take us a while to do that. But let's go ahead and stamp down a couple over here for copper as well. So where's that blueprint? There. So we're going to go with, I think I said 4 lanes of copper. So 1, 2, 3, and we gotta get rid of a couple of things here. All right. Oh, we may have to reverse. Actually, I may not have to because I'm going to probably pull coal in from that side eventually, since this patch up here is probably what we're going to tap for our smelters. So we've got 1 lane. I want to get a full second lane of iron up and running before we do a copper lane. So let's go ahead and do that. Gosh, man. Do we probably do, I guess. So let's make, oh, look at all this ore. I think it's gonna, Okay, good. We used all that. Let's go ahead and use... Let's make those furnaces with the stone we've got. And we're gonna need to build... Ooh, more than that. Okay, so let's get some more miners down. And sorry guys, I know it's a little hard to see. Put a couple of lights down here, I guess. That's why you need to... I need to grab some gears. Everything takes iron gears. So I just need to grab some here. And that way... I have lots of belts, I have lots of gears. It won't take so long for me to build stuff manually. Eventually, like I said, we will not have to do that at all. This guy's a problem. Oh no. Get rid of that. Yes. Alright. So eventually I'll have one of those guys there. We just need, for now, to fix that. I'm just gonna plug this guy in. Sorry, this is a little tedious. So I took the kids sledding earlier. That was fun. We hadn't been sledding. I don't know if they had ever really been sledding. We have kind of a small hill that we have in the yard here, but it's obviously, you know, it's 30 feet. You barely get going, and you've hit the end of it. So I think it was kind of their first experience, like really sledding. So that was fun. It was a big hill too. I was shocked that both of them were willing to go down solo. They didn't even ask me to go down with them, which you know, to be quite frank, is probably not the worst thing in the world, because I'm old and fat and probably could have killed myself. I did go down once though. I did a Facebook Live thing for my wife to kind of see what we were up to. She stayed home. Actually, she went to the gym to work out, and so I was like, well, she hadn't probably ever got to see him sled before, so I did a Facebook Live thing so she could watch it, and a couple of other family members were watching and egging me on to make the trip myself. So I did, and I just built all those the wrong direction. How stupid do you have to be? Oh gosh, we need a lot more than that. Okay. And actually, I think it's easier to just do this. No. Okay, are you guys going the right way? Nope. Okay, you are. Well, that research finally finished. It took a while, didn't it? And we'll probably need to put some more materials up there in our little ghetto production facility that we've got going up there. So we'll take a look at that as soon as we get done with this smelter. Oh my goodness. This takes so much materials. Let's go, actually, while we're building those, let's go see if we've got enough stuff up here, because we can reload this. See what's going on here. Actually, we're not too bad, eh? Might as well. Okay. Alright, cool. So we're basically now out of red research. We'll go ahead and learn these base ones, but it doesn't take long to get through the red only research that you kind of need. Let's go that way. Is everybody see? These guys are not pointed the right way. It doesn't snow here in this area that I live in a lot. As a matter of fact, I think last year, I don't know that we got a significant measurable snowfall the entire year. I think there was one time that there was like a chance. Did I put all those on the wrong side? I think I did. I think those are. One time there was a chance, and like businesses canceled work and schools canceled, and then it was nothing, which is pretty typical of this area. Of weather forecasters just have a really difficult time. Here in the Ohio Valley, because the patterns are just really unpredictable. Oh gosh, what do we need? Copper? Alright. Okay, so turrets are done. Let's go stone walls. How's that look on the map? Where's power? Not bad. I can deal with that. Like my symmetry. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just don't want it to be terrible. Okay, so I think we now have 2 full lanes of iron. up and running. So now let's go ahead and work on our lanes of copper, or our 1 lane of copper. And basically at that point we're good to go on I guess, yeah, kind of getting started on our factory here. Won't be perfect, but should be good enough. Gosh, man, really worried. How are we doing on power? So we may need to not bad. All right, walls are done. Military. All right, so let's go ahead and do we have stuff to make? No, we need stuff. What are we out of? Iron. Let's get rid of some of this coal. My goodness. There we go. You can see this is not a fully compressed belt. We could add a couple of more in, but I don't think there would still be enough for us to fully compress that belt. But it's close enough. Let's see here. What did I come up here for? I need some iron, so I don't need to come up here. Alright, now let's make some more of those. And a bunch of those. Belt's always the easiest thing because, well, it's click and drag basically. Alright. We have 2. We're gonna need yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll bring coal in that way. We could just do this. All right. And oops. Okay, there to there to there to there. Come on. Yeah, this early, I always like starting new games off, but there does come a point that you're just like, okay, yes, I've done this a few times. I mean, even though I don't have a ton of experience with this game, I feel like this is pretty much the way I've started every game that I've ever played. So it's weird. More copper, more copper, more copper. We can go ahead and lay out our miners over here too, I guess. Let's go ahead. Okay, miners. Let's start here. So, let's see. Alright, I think that's basically the line we want to start on. And we're just gonna basically skip where we don't need them. And okay, let's go ahead and make, yeah, that's fine. We'll make the rest of those. And okay. We now have the copper. Now we just gotta get the coal. Oh gosh, so we're gonna make the hike over here. We're gonna start bringing our coal in from up here because we are gonna run out on that little bitty tiny patch. How much do we even have left? 96k. So we've used 5% of what was there, and we're really just touching the surface, so we're gonna need to get some more here. So let's go up here. I don't feel like fooling with that right now, so let's go ahead and lay out. Man, look how spread out this is. I feel like the richness here is not what I had in mind. So we're gonna, this stuff is all gonna run out really quick. Yeah, you can see we're only getting 145 out of this miner. Oh gosh, it'll be fun to get power up here. Hi, out of bells. Dang. Alright, well let's at least start running power then. Since we gotta make the trek. Actually, we don't need this guy. Alright, power. Alright, and we're gonna go. And then we're gonna go. That's not bad. Okay. Except except all this is not hooked up to anything, is it? No, but one line over, we're good. There you go. Belts, belts. We need lots of belts. Use some more iron. Let's go ahead and grab you. And grab you. And grab that. Grab those. Hope that 400's enough. Might need to make that a little bit more. Okay, so we're gonna bring what we're gonna do for now is nope. Okay. All right. Well, coal incoming. It should be here in a year. It's gonna take it a while to get here. When it finally does get here, we're gonna be in really good shape. So let's see what we can do here to get this iron. Okay, I think I'm gonna this and this are gonna be my iron lines. This will be for steel and maybe plastic or other stuff that we need. So this way far outside iron. It's gonna be this guy right here. Okay, we are gonna need that's fine. We're out of belts. Let's clear up some of this stone. I like that these stone patches give you, you know, different amounts now. Used to be, you know, this stone you get 5 or 20. Move on. I like that you can get a little bit of oil from some of them, etc., etc. Alright, so this guy is going to go there. This guy. Gonna go there. Do we have? Oh, we do. There we go. We're smelting up copper. Why are we not? Oh, did I never? Well, shame on me. Oh yeah, you guys gotta switch. I know there's a way. Is it? What did I just do? Dang it. There's a way somehow. Oh, is it middle? Oh, it is middle mouse. Alright, cool. Okay. You know, just realized that we have to move those iron lines a little bit. It's not a huge deal. Actually, I think there's just barely enough. Oh, I'm out. Can we make a few more? We can. Okay. So there's our copper line. We need some more belts. Let's up this to full row. Good times, good times. Alright. That's not enough to do really anything. How is our power situation looking? Okay, well, not terrible. But this whole step melter and most of this one is not even working right now, so. Alright, let's just lay these belts out. Somewhere in here we'll put in some balancers. So that we can, make sure we're making as a most efficient as possible use of our. Oh, I probably need to do the underground belt thing here too, don't I? I need to think about that. So I have no need for any of these, but I got nothing else to do with the resources right now. I need to get those reds learned. Otherwise, they're just going to sit there forever. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then, I don't know, looks like we need about another 100 belts or so. And we should have all those lines connected up to the start of our bus. So. Need more than that. Alright, so we'll let that craft for just a bit and go from there. So we've basically got a start on our bus, and we have many more lanes of iron and copper and steel to set up. We still are going to probably have to find, because we don't even have enough iron in our starting area to really even do steel. I don't think we're probably going to have to pull steel production from the area down here that we explored a bit. Yeah, this iron right here is probably gonna have to be the start of our steel production. So we only have what 700K or so left in our starting area. Copper, we're fine. Stone, we've got some close patches. But our issue is coal. There's plenty here to deal with. Not too concerned. That's just look how sporadic it is. I don't like the resource generation on this map at all. I can tell you right now, if I hadn't made the mistake and forced myself to use this map because I was retarded, um, this map would have scored a 0 on the is this map usable. But we'll make it work. So, the plan for our next stream will be we want to get up to 4 lanes of iron, 2 lanes of copper, 1 lane of steel. Now we're going to definitely bring in the steel from down here. We will probably bring in some for regular iron smelting from down here. We're also going to have to truck in a lot more of this coal. And we'll probably need to expand our power plant. As a matter of fact, we'll probably schedule to do the power plant first thing in our next stream, because if you run into power generation problems, it can be a pain in the rear to get it fixed, because it literally shuts down your entire factory or makes it run extremely slow, where you're constantly having to wait on resources and products. So we did that in the wrong one, didn't we? You know what? We're gonna do this, boys and girls. We're gonna do that, because for now that's fine. All right. So we're gonna run this guy here. I'll tell you what we can do. Let's not connect that just yet. Oh, we're out. Nope, got 1 left. Okay, eventually we'll run that down there and fix that. It's fine. We will eventually have a line there, so it's not going to hurt us too much. Alright, so next stream plan will be increase power, finish up 4 lanes of iron, 2 lanes of copper, 1 lane of steel, and then get started actually producing some probably red science, as well as some make everything or mall style items that we're just going to need a lot of. Start having the factory produce, inserters, belts, pipe, and all the stuff that we need in order to function day to day. So appreciate anybody that stopped by to watch. If you're watching this, later, keep an eye out for when I'm streaming if you're interested in catching some more of Factorio Mega Base style play. Again, our long term, and this is extremely long term goal, is 5,000 science, 5,000 science per minutes. So basically 5 rockets per minute in order for us to get to the highest level of science, etc. So keep an eye out for future streams. I don't have a set stream schedule for when I'm gonna do this. It's kind of gonna be, hey, I feel like playing Factorio. Let's pull it up and play. If you like iRacing, uh, I will be streaming some iRacing as well. Kerbal Space Program is on my list of things that I may stream, uh, and and then any other games that catch my fancy. So again, appreciate anybody that stopped by to watch, and I will see you guys next time.